Hello, I'm Pamela Scudder and this is Heart of the Home. Today we're going to show you a new idea for putting texture on those paneled walls, and later we'll be making pickles. Please stay tuned. Hi, today we're here with Janet Petty, and Janet has textured or retextured her dining room walls. She got tired of looking at that plain old wood paneling and decided to do something different. So Janet, would you tell us what you've done?
The first step that we did, we took primer sealer and we painted over the paneling.
Now, do you have to sand first?
Sanding is an option. I chose not to do that because I didn't want the mess with children running in and out, and it was a lot of extra work for those of us getting older and have shoulder problems.
Yes.
So
I understand how that is. And it adheres?
It adheres very well.
Okay. Isn't there another product on the market that you could use to degloss, I guess is the term?
The standard product that people use is Kills. I also opted not to use the Kills because I was doing this project in the summer and I could not open my windows. This is a latex primer sealer and it seemed to work very well.
Does it cover up the wood grain? Or it just...
On this paneling, yes, it would cover up the wood grain. On mine, I had to do 2 coats because it was a darker paneling.
Okay. And then after you did this, then what's the next step? Obviously, this has to dry.
Right. It has to dry. The next step that we used was to take a drywall compound.
All right. We just happen to have some. Sorry.
And
you're left-handed.
I'm left-handed. And I wanted a stucco-type finish. So what we did was we put it on very thick and just played with it until we got a texture that we liked.
And how long does it take this to dry?
It takes it about 24 hours to dry. Luckily it doesn't smell bad, so it's not going to run your family out of the house.
So the primer would take 1 day, and then this would take another...
Primer dries in less than an hour.
Oh, great. Now what if you wanted more texture on this? Is there anything else that you could do?
Yes, you can buy a textured paint that is essentially drywall compound that has a sand in it, or you can buy the texture itself and put it in the drywall compound.
But I imagine this gets very tiring and, as you say, difficult for people with a problem shoulder or bursitis, arthritis, or just getting older.
This wasn't as bad as the sanding.
Oh,
This was fun. The only problem I had was that I put it on a little too thick and got a little excited, and I had glops all over the floor.
And that's no fun. The cleanup's worse than the product. Well, then after this dries, this is the texture that you get?
This is the texture that you get. And because it has a chalk-like finish and it's very absorbent, we chose to take a regular neutral color of paint and paint over the top of it for a primer.
To act as a sealant?
To act as a sealant, which we have done here with this one. You can see it's just very slightly different.
And then you put your color on?
Then I wanted another color on top of it. I have a glove on for a reason. You take any old grocery bag and make sure that it's turned...
Plastic grocery bag.
Plastic grocery bag. Make sure that it's turned inside out so that the writing on it is on the inside. Otherwise it does come off on your paint. And it takes very little paint. Don't think you have to buy a gallon of paint. A quart of paint was more than enough. And I basically just...
I'm going to stand back. You look like a wild woman.
Oh, this was fun.
It does look like fun. Look at how the texture and everything shows up there.
This was so much fun. It works better with the satin. I think I did put a flat
with
paint
a
on.
Satin primer?
Yeah, because it slides on a little better.
And this was flat?
Yes, but it works either way.
Should you be concerned about the areas where you have it so thick?
No. bit of water will take care of that too.
Oh, so you just add, you're using a latex paint.
Yes.
And so you could just add a little bit of water to dilute that if you wanted to.
I did get a little thick right there.
Well, that looks neat. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if any of us would want to put red, but we we might or might not.
Red shows up really good for the camera.
Now, were you concerned about the lines of the paneling that still showed?
Yes. I have a stairwell. In fact, the stairwell is behind us, and I'm a little bit afraid of heights, so I had a problem with the corner over the stairwell. It's not done as well as the rest of the kitchen.
But I mean, I know you were talking about the wood grain,
Oh,
but
no.
the grooves. The grooves didn't bother you at all?
That didn't bother me at all. In fact, I think it adds interest.
It does. It is interesting. Well, what color did you do your house? What was your dining room? What color did you put on first?
I put on the light and neutral in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and then I took a Cherokee tan and halved it. Had the paint store mix
Diluted it that?
I had the paint store mix it half, which is what I put on the top, and then I put a border on and painted the Cherokee tan on the bottom.
Well, it certainly looks attractive. And Janet, we appreciate you sharing this with us today, and hope that someone else will be inspired to try your idea. And if you stay tuned, we'll be showing you how to make pickles. Please come back. Welcome back. Today we're going to make the most delicious pickles, or at least my husband says these pickles are delicious. He is a pickle aficionado. These pickles taste like the refrigerator pickles that you get in the grocery store that are dill pickles. And what we're going to do is start with a gallon jar with a wide top. And you'll need to add a grape leaf. These are small, so I'm going to use 2. We're going to put the grape leaf in the bottom of the jar. Then we're going to add 1 head of dill. This one's kind of slightly smushed. We'll break that off and put that down in the bottom. And I've got some of the seeds that fell off of it. We'll throw that in the bottom also. Mash it down. And then we're just going to fill the jar with cucumbers. Now, it's better if you have cucumbers fresh out of your garden, and you can use the cucumbers the same day, because cucumbers have a short lifespan before they start getting bad. I'll show you one in just a few minutes that is beyond hope. But you want to get the freshest cucumbers that you possibly can and then pack them in the jar. Now, some people like their cucumbers whole for dill pickles, and that's great too. If you have the cucumbers that are the right size, you can do that. The cucumbers that I had were not quite large enough, not quite small enough to use whole, so I had to slice them to make them appear more uniform. So I'm going to pack this whole jar full of cucumber slices. I would like to have them all standing up straight, but time may limit me from making them absolutely beautiful. Forgive me this time. In my imagination, these are all standing up straight and are beautiful. You want to pack them in there as tightly as you can. Don't leave a lot of room for air. Now, I talked to the Extension Service about this recipe, and they tell me that it's perfectly safe. However, you would need to use it within 2 months. What we're going to do is pack all of these in here, and at about this point, you can add a jalapeno pepper and 1 clove of garlic. It's just put down in there. I'm going to continue filling the rest of the cucumbers in all the way to the top. Now we're going to add 1½ cups of vinegar, 2 cups of water, that 1/2 cup of salt, pickling or kosher salt, has been dissolved in. And also 1 teaspoon of alum into the salt water. We're going to add 1½ teaspoons of pickling spice. We're going to add this over the top. Pour that all in there. Then add enough cold water to cover it, to come all the way up to the top. Put in another grape leaf and another head of dill. Then you put this on your kitchen counter, close it, right on the top when you put it in there, seal it, and leave it there for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you will take the cucumbers out and put them in the refrigerator, and you have a yummy dill pickles. But you need to use them within 2 months. Hope you've enjoyed this recipe. If you have any comments, write us at Cruise 6, Post Office Box 1287, I believe, Harrison, Arkansas. Thanks. Bye-bye.